18-year-old Jolene Cujo has just pleaded guilty to the crimes of vehicular manslaughter and tampering with a crime scene. Due to this guilty verdict, she's been sentenced to 15 years in Green Dolphin Prison. Stay tuned for more news in the Sunshine State of Florida.
Hello, welcome to Jojo to Go. My name is Mike. In this series, me and Cain are going to be giving a recap of Stone Ocean. Today we're going to be starting with the introduction of our newest Jojo, Jolene Cujo.
Beginning Stone Ocean, Jolene is seen in her cell with the other prisoners, who are chastising her for getting caught pleasuring herself the night before by a guard that looks like Tom Cruise. She is then taken to her lawyer, who explains that due to her already committing theft twice before, she won't be given bail. Shortly after, she is given a pendant from her estranged father. Inside the pendant is a sharp stone and a picture of her parents. Jolene then accidentally pricks her finger on the stone, causing it to rupture into a bloody mess. So the wound disappears almost immediately, only leaving a small cut as the pendant falls down a drain.
Jolene later boards a bus to be transferred to Green Dolphin Prison. She meets a lady by the name of Hermes Costello. Hermes explains to her the importance of money within Green Dolphin Prison, even revealing that she keeps all of her cash inside holes placed behind her breasts. Once the bus comes to a stop, the Tom Cruise-looking guard from before steps onto the bus to carry off the inmates. As Jolene is being escorted, she suddenly is able to hear what's happening inside the bus, even though she's far away from it at this point.
What she hears is Hermes being frisked for money by the Tom Cruise lookalike and another guard. Jolene then notices that her entire hand is turned into string and that Hermes is being assaulted by the guards for not having enough money. She then commands the string to stop a baton from hitting Hermes, along with cutting off the ear of the Tom Cruise guard, successfully saving both Hermes and her money.
We're taken to a flashback involving Jolene and her boyfriend Romeo driving through Florida. They chit-chat as they drive, bringing up Jolene's previous experience with the biker gang known as the Hell's Riders. When suddenly, a black figure slammed into the front of the car, swerving them off the road. The black figure was a citizen that was on the road that, unbeknownst to Jolene, was killed by the collision. Jolene goes to call the ambulance but is probably stopped by Romeo, who explains that if they were to contact someone about this, Romeo's chances of success in the future would be completely ruined.
After being persuaded, Jolene helps Romeo attempt to dump the body in a nearby swamp. 4 days later, Jolene is placed under arrest after the body is discovered by the police. She then contacts a lawyer who offers her a plea deal, telling her that she'll receive 1 to 2 years at most if she goes through with it.
Under the guise that this plea bargain will result in a short sentence, she pleads guilty to injuring the person they hit. The judge reveals to her that the person she hit had actually died upon being hit, and that she would be receiving a 15-year sentence in Green Dolphin Prison.
However, Romeo is revealed to have paid off Jolene's lawyer to pin the blame all on her, causing Jolene to go into a blind rage. After her sentencing, she was detained and put into a straitjacket. Once she arrives in the prison, it is revealed to the reader that the straitjacket is designed to choke her out so she can, in the words of the guard, give them a little taste of life here. She's then introduced into Green Dolphin Prison, stripping down to nothing, getting a cavity search, and witnessing a peculiar sight, that being a female prisoner injected with male hormones.
On her way to her cell, she sees her lawyer. She decides to get revenge by using her string power to cause a crash. Jolene Cujo kills him. Soon after that random event, we get a rundown on how the prison economy works overall, where people are able to pay off guards for many things, such as not getting a haircut at all.
Upon entering her cell, Jolene meets her new cellmate, a woman named Guess, with a knack for rapidly swapping emotions at random. Jolene also sees that Guess has her father's pendant, which she'd previously lost. In trying to get it back, though, she makes Guess mad, and notices a bird in Guess's pocket that looks as though it's removing its own head.
The next morning, Guess wakes up Jolene and apologizes for her outburst, showing that the pendant did not contain the picture of Jolene's parents. Guess leaves for lunch, and as Jolene gets ready to follow, she notices that her pants are completely soaked in water. By the time Jolene finally gets to the cafeteria, they had already ran out of lunches for everyone. And as it turns out, Guess had purchased 2 lunches that day just for herself. Guess proceeded to throw away the completely untouched second meal just to spite Jolene. And as Jolene looks into the trash can, she sees none other than the photo of her parents that should have been in the pendant originally.
Guess leaves off on her own and pulls her pet parrot out of her pocket to talk to it. She has the parrot fly up to her shoulder and then cherishes it with love for doing the trick properly. She also starts feeding it like a baby as it stares vacantly at the food. Once it eats, she then yells at it to fly over to her finger, but the bird almost falls off the finger and distinctly says, "Whoa."
After hearing this, Guess becomes furious at the bird because, according to her, how could a bird make a whoa sound? She berates the parrot for saying whoa, calling it an idiot. In response, the bird begins to say, "I love you," over and over again. But Guess declares that they aren't compatible and that this is the end between us.
Seeing this, Jolene uses her string to steal the parrot and swap it with a banana. Jolene realizes that it's not a real parrot, and that the stone pendant that gave Jolene her string powers must have also given Guess some sort of power. Jolene then removes the head of the parrot, and suddenly multiple tiny limbs come pouring out of the parrot's insides.
Guess heads towards Jolene's location to look for the bird, so Jolene hides behind cover to get away. But Jolene realizes that she's shrunk to the size of the parrot, right before Guess's giant fist picks her up.
After taking her back to her cell, Guess states that she truly wants to be really good friends with Jolene, while also stating that she wishes to escape prison with Jolene. She tells her that she has no idea when and where she gained her shrinking power, but cannot shrink herself. Guess then tells Jolene her plan of escape by having Jolene go to the control room of the prison to release the doors and main gate. This causes Jolene to question why there was a man in a bird suit, causing Guess to fly into a fit of anger and verbal aggression.
It's then shown that Guess has a hollowed out rat carcass that Jolene can use to sneakily scurry to the switch. Before she starts her escape plan, she forces Jolene to perform various tasks to prove she is capable of using the rat suit, such as running a makeshift turn wheel made of matches and holding up multiple books.
The next day, Jolene claims she has no idea what that mad woman Guess is thinking and that she must get back to her normal size somehow. Later on, Guess and Jolene are about to begin their first test to escape. Before this, however, Guess makes a comment on how she named her ability Goo Goo Dolls. Guess makes Jolene go through the corridor of the main hall to scout out any and all forms of security, such as guards and cameras.
Jolene begins her task to scout out the route to the controls, but is forced to take refuge under a desk. At the same time, Guess is seen by a guard at the gate and is told to go back to her cell. As this happens, Jolene is still under the desk in her rat costume. She suddenly begins to grow, ripping her costume apart. Above the desk, the guards begin to notice the rumblings and go to take a look. But Jolene uses her string ability to spill hot coffee on a guard, causing them all to panic, leaving ample time for Jolene to start making her escape. She begins running for the gate, still at an incredibly small height when she notices the rat costume is chasing her. It was revealed a pink monster was in the suit with her the entire time, Goo Goo Dolls itself.
A chase ensues and Jolene is able to make 3 key observations. 1. Goo Goo Dolls is a manifestation of willpower, just like her string is. 2. If she gets too far away from Guess, she begins to grow back to normal size. And 3. Goo Goo Dolls is now trying to kill Jolene for trying to leave the rat costume. As Jolene continues to escape, Goo Goo Dolls scratches at her and takes a chunk out of her leg. At the same time, Jolene realizes that she has become stuck between the metal bars of the gate due to her still growing back to normal size. Just as all hope seems lost, Goo Goo Dolls is knocked back into a wall, and a blue figure made of string appears to be coming out of Jolene's neck. Jolene realizes that she is able to gather her string together to create a physical version of her own stand. She uses her stand to grab Goo Goo Dolls in one fist and crush it, but as she is doing so, Guess reappears, bloodied and battered.
Jolene figures out that if a stand takes damage, the user takes the exact same damage. Guess begins to beg for her life, offering everything she can to get Jolene to let go of her. Jolene asks Guess to shrink her down a little bit so she can get through the cell, along with asking for the pendant she stole. As Guess hands Jolene the pendant, she informs Jolene that she had purchased the pendant from a girl named Hermes. Guess slams into Jolene, knocking her back into the control room area behind the gate, and yells for a guard to come over.
The guard sees Jolene and initiates a code 999, or a prison break, sounding the alarm and locking Jolene in the guard area. She attempts to break the wire fencing in front of her, but is unable to do so since her stand isn't powerful enough. Guess then berates Jolene, exclaiming that she's done for and that the guard has the right to shoot her. Jolene immediately throws a punch at Guess, her stand's string fists being able to go through the bars and hit Guess square in the face. Upon landing this devastating punch, Jolene proclaims that using her stand, she will free herself from the stone ocean, naming it Stone Free.
After landing a stand rush on Guess, she grabs her by the throat and demands that Guess shrink her back down to get out of the guard area. And just as 2 guards with shotguns storm the gate, Jolene is suddenly nowhere to be seen.
Later that night, the reader is given an explanation about Stone Free. Its ability is to turn any part of Jolene's body into a weak string that can be easily damaged, but is able to travel great distances. If the string clumps up, it becomes 3-dimensional and becomes easier to concentrate power at the cost of only having a 2-meter range. At the moment, Stone Free's strength is only enough to crush a coin.
The next day, Jolene is asked by a blonde girl if she can borrow $1 to call her family, promising to pay her right back. Jolene, being the saint that she is, gives $1 to the blonde girl, and right as Jolene goes to use the phone herself, a tall black lady elbows her in the face and tells her not to cut the line. Jolene gets mad, exclaiming that she had already been waiting 30 minutes for her call. The black lady informs her that the phones are all reservation only and that the wait times are usually a month. The phones turn out to be one of the 7 wonders of Green Dolphin Prison.
Later, Guess appears behind Jolene and asks her how she's doing. Jolene promptly tells Guess to shut up, and that she never wants to see her again. Guess says that she pledges to be Jolene's loyal servant, and that she came with a warning for Jolene. Guess tells Jolene that she'll be in deep shit if she doesn't get that $1 back from the blonde girl ASAP. Guess then explains that unless she gets the $1 back, rumors will spread and she'll be everybody's target for free cash. Guess then points to a girl getting bullied into giving money to another girl. Jolene looks over, only to see the blonde girl she lent $1 to walking back to her cell with no intention of giving the money back.
Jolene follows this blonde girl to the reading room, where she then asks the blonde girl to pay her back. The blonde girl gets furious and yells at Jolene, telling her to shut up and that she doesn't know when she will be able to pay her back. The blonde girl immediately gets cutesy again and asks Jolene if she can lend $10 more.
Jolene then goes to the bathroom, but not before crushing a coin and having the blonde girl ingest it via Jolene's string. This causes the blonde girl to immediately have to go to the bathroom, but since Jolene is already in there, she is unable to do so. The blonde girl offers to pay her back with the $1 if Jolene lets her into the bathroom, but Jolene responds, telling her that she can just take her time on repaying her. On the edge of defecating, the blonde girl offers to buy the bathroom for $10. Jolene takes the deal, but not before slamming the doorknob into the blonde girl's face. As she leaves the reading room, she tips off the girl that got bullied to go to the bathroom, and then gives the girl that bullied her a dose of crushed coin as well.
Now, Jolene notices a baseball rolling on the ground on the other side of a cell gate. To her surprise, a young boy in a baseball outfit goes and picks up the ball, and before she can say anything, the boy tells her that tomorrow at noon, someone will come to see her. But she can't go to see him no matter what, because if she does, something worse than death will happen. The boy then disappears seemingly into thin air, and the guard comes out and yells at Jolene to let go of the bar.
During lunch the next day, the exact same guard comes to see Jolene and tells her that she has a visitor coming to see her. On her way to go see whoever's visiting her, a hand comes out of a trash can and grabs Jolene's arm. This is then revealed to be the same boy from before, who tells her that she can still turn back and abandon the meeting. Confused, Jolene asks who he is and what's going on. The boy states that he can't explain it, but something worse than death is happening in this prison right now, and she will be involved if she meets whoever is visiting her. Jolene refuses to listen to the boy, stating that it could be her mom visiting, and that she wants to see her mother more than anything. Knowing he can't stop Jolene, the boy hands her a mysterious bone and tells her that she must never let it go, only before disappearing right after.
As Jolene steps out into the visiting room, she sees someone familiar.